Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's on your heart, whatever's in your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So you may call or text every day on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We are here for you. In 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural, sustainable, artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And I'd like to say to those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life Delaware, and those of you who have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you. Those of you who are giving on the contribution page of our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com, we don't take any of this for granted. We thank you for your continued support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you do not want to be confined any longer. So you indicated that you would like to know when this pandemic experience is going to end. So let me first of all say this is very interesting because I was having a conversation with one of the leaders in my church, one of the leaders as we were on our way out the door. We're still socially distancing. We're open with protocol, but we are in our sanctuary on Sunday mornings. And one of the things that we talked about is COVID is not going anywhere. Let's be clear on that. COVID is going to be just like, and I don't want anyone to misinterpret this, it is more dangerous than the flu. It is something that we have not seen before this pandemic occurred. However, I am fully convinced that it is not going anywhere, and it is going to be like our annual responsibility for public health, that we're going to need to get a vaccination for COVID. We're going to have to get a vaccination for COVID every year, annually, just like you do the flu shot. Now, I realize there are non-vaxxers out there. I'm not naive to believe that everyone is going to get a COVID shot because not everyone takes a flu shot annually. But this is more dangerous than the flu. So we have to be very cautious about that. But it's not going anywhere. So we're going to have to address it. Now, someone even mentioned to me during the week that we were exchanging some information from articles, and they indicated that it may not be just once a year, it might be every 6 months. But I think that as they continue to move forward with development of this vaccine, we're going to be at a point where we can get a booster shot once annually. Now, having said that, it's still going to remain with us, just like influenza remains with us. The strands of flu that are public health concerns are going to be with us, and so is COVID. However, we can all do our part by being vaccinated and continuing to wear masks. Okay, so, I have been vaccinated, but I am continuing to wear masks, and I will continue to wear masks until we get to a place that the public health concern has been not only reduced but eliminated. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't be able to return to some semblance of normalcy. You said you don't want to be confined any longer. No one has completely confined you from developing a new normal in your life. Let me explain to you why I said that. So when it was first announced that we were going to have to shut down in March of 2020, everything was shut down from March until June. And then here in our state, the governor said we could return to gatherings of, first it was, I don't know, may have been 10 people or less, it may have been, 50 people or less, but whatever it was, and then it went to 30% of seating capacity. So I'm saying all of that to say, no one has confined you permanently. You still had the opportunity, even when we were closed down, you still had the opportunity to go to the grocery store. All that was asked of us is that we wear masks and that we socially distance. The problem was that there are people who are not only non-vaxxers, there are people who refuse to comply with masking and social distancing. So that was their choice. And so consequently, we had a spread of the contagion, and we continued to have an uptick, and eventually, it was announced that we could, as I said, we could do, certain numbers of gatherings we could do, and this is for every aspect. We were able to take out food from restaurants, to support our local businesses as much as we possibly could. We were able to eventually dine in restaurants as long as they had taken necessary protocol. No one has completely confined you to your home. What we're trying to do is limit the spread. So we encourage people to socialize with those in their immediate household. That's good for the family. And immediate family members who are being safe and well. They're not moving around, they're wearing masks, they're socially distancing. And even that we've all kept to a limit. We've all limited that. Now that and those who are living in a warmer climate, you have the opportunity to go out and sit on your balcony, out on your patio, out on your deck, and socially distance with family members. If you're like us and you're in a region that has 4 seasons, we haven't been able to do that, but it's coming soon. Memorial Day will be here before we know it, and it will be warmer than it is even right now, and we will be able to sit on the patio with our family members, socially distancing. You may be able to do some of those things, but no one has completely confined. But even with that, you wear masks when you're seated. You take your mask off to eat. There are things that we've learned about this experience that don't require us to be confined any longer. They just require us to make certain that we remain safe and well. So I'm not encouraging anyone to move around a whole lot. I'm not suggesting that you go and hang out with people that you don't know. I'm not suggesting that you go and hang out with people that are moving around doing things that are not keeping themselves safe and well. There's a lot of moving parts to this, as I like to say, or you can just use the term, there's a lot of variables. We don't know. Now, I know the people in my church are taking heed to, the instruction. We should all be vaccinated. And we are socially distancing. We are wearing masks. We are doing what's necessary to address the public health issue. We're doing that. And, many of us are working from home. Many of us we're still able to do things that need to be done. You can go to the grocery store. You can go to the dry cleaners. You can go to a restaurant. You just have to take the necessary precautions. However, you're going to have to get accustomed to the fact that COVID is not going anywhere. And we have to just monitor the research, monitor the developments. The CDC keeps putting out announcements about how things are progressing. They keep putting out announcements what needs to be done and what we can do. We need to follow those. We need to research the medical journals. We need to read more about what's happening with this public health issue. And I'm not saying consume yourself with what's going on. What I'm saying is stay informed. If you do that, we'll be fine. And wear your mask, socially distance. I know they've gone from, the CDC announced that you can go from 6 feet socially distancing now to, as long as you have on mask, to 3 feet socially distancing. There are things that are being reported by the CDC and health journals that tell us the variables that are occurring with COVID. We've got to adhere to those. And if we do that, we can stay safe and well, and we can, for the sake of humanity, care for others. Make certain that others stay safe and well. Now, there are a lot of people who don't want to walk around with the mask because they want people to see their face. There are a lot of people who refuse to wear masks because they just don't like to comply with the norm. There are a lot of people who have, theories that have not been determined to be facts, but they have theories about this, and they refuse to wear masks and refuse to socially distance because they only want to do what they want to do. And I'm going to leave that between them and God. What I'm going to do, and what I'm going to encourage everyone else to do, is not be panicked by this, but be mindful, cautious, stay safe, stay well, and for the sake of humanity, do what's been instructed to reduce the spread of this contagion. That's all we have to do. We can't eliminate it, but we can reduce the spread. We can address the spread. And for those of us who have been vaccinated, we can keep ourselves and others safe and well. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may, or you have not been in the previous 90 days, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue, which will allow you to become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you really want to push your career forward, however, you are not certain how to do that. So, first and foremost, you must identify what you have been doing that has limited your success. The first thing you have to do is, and I'm really delighted that you sent in this communication, because this will help a lot of our listeners and viewers who struggle with pushing their career forward. So you have to identify exactly what you've been doing that has limited your success, and then you have to make the changes. See, it's one thing to not know what you're doing that has limited your success. It's another thing to know what you've been doing that has limited your success, but you haven't done anything about it. And then there's another level when we come into the recognition that we've been doing things the wrong way for so long, we think it's the right way to do them. And so consequently, we have identified that there are things that we need to do that will allow us to push our career forward. So once you've identified those things, you've got to then start to make the changes. And let me tell you where to always begin. Always begin with, what am I doing, or what have I been doing that has not been effective, and what have I been doing that has not been efficient? Have I been trying to work smart and not hard? Do I work hard and not smart? You know, that old adage of working hard or working smart, we have to do both. We have to be effective, that's what it means to work hard, and we have to be efficient, which is what it means to work smart. And we don't work smart because we want to cut corners. We work smart because we don't want to waste time. We're efficient because if we're inefficient, we are wasting productive time. We're wasting time that we could be more productive in moving our careers forward. So we have to make certain that we focus on doing whatever is necessary to be more effective and more efficient. And let me tell you what that looks like. So if you're ever going to be more effective, you really have to improve your quality of life. So that means you've got to eliminate all of the distractions at home. You've got to eliminate all the distractions from your personal life. You know, first you've got to reduce them, but then you've got to eliminate them. So you've got to make certain that you are not sabotaging your own success. So you really have to take a look at your personal life and say, do I have peace? Have I found my peace in my personal life? Am I doing the things necessary in my personal life that will keep me from carrying stressors with me into my workplace, into my work environment? That's one thing. So you have to improve the quality of your life. You have to really examine the quality of your life and say, okay, these are things that I can make changes so that I can be more effective. And I always tell everyone, it starts with body, mind, and spirit. So you've got to get some exercise, try to eat right, drink plenty of water. You know, I know these are little things that you might say, well, how's that going to improve the quality of my life? That's going to enhance the body. You got to get more rest. And then you've got to focus on getting your mind right. So that every day whether you're working from home or whether you're going into the office at this point, every day when you get ready to go to work, that you go to work. Every day when the business day starts, that you focus on the business day. You don't focus on the things that you might want to do at home. Those are for after 6 o'clock. Those are not for, between 8 and 5 or 9 to 6. They're just not. Those are not conducive. It's not conducive for you to do those things that you want to do at home during the business hour and really be effective. Now, I know that might spill over into time management, but I'll get to that in a moment, because we just have to examine how we can be more effective. So you got to look at every component of your personal life, body, mind, and spirit. Do I have the right spirit to be successful every day? Do I have the right attitude? Does my behavior line up with what is going to lead to my success? Does my commitment line up to what leads to my success? Am I seeking to have a spirit of excellence in my everyday workday? I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say over the years that they were calling in sick because they're sick of working. We've got to change that mentality. Society has not done us any favor developing these cliches that go against the norm. And then, in our society today, we've got people who, have gone to the opposite end of the spectrum. Oh, I want to give 110%. I want to, really be my best and be excellent. And but they don't put in the work to do that. They've got other distractions that distract them from achieving that. We have to say what we mean and mean what we say. So I'm not the hype man. What I tell everyone, anyone that tells me they're going to give 110%, I stop them and I tell them, listen, you're doing hype. It's hyperbole. You've got to give 100%. 100% of the time. If you can get to that place, you don't have to try and give 100%. Just give 100%. If you can even get there in your everyday life, you're going to be so much further ahead of where you are right now. And that's for everyone. We've got to give 100%, 100% of the time, and we will maximize our success. And then we have to be efficient. So effective, and we've got to be efficient. So you've got to ask yourself, how can I be more efficient? First of all, I'm managing my time, because that's going to be a crucial piece for your success. And how can I be more efficient in my everyday business responsibilities? So, I read a lot, and one of the things that I've always done is when I go to a meeting, I always take a notebook, a notepad. And I know people say, well, I can take the notes on my phone, but then it doesn't look like you're giving the attention to the person who's speaking. So, I know people say that I can take notes on my phone, I can remember. How's that working for you? The reality is, when you write something down, you take mental ownership of it. So I always took a notebook. But then I was reading an article that said, when you arrive at a meeting, always take a notebook. And then when you sit down at the table, the first thing you should write on the top of the page is listen. And put it in quotation marks. Listen. Because, I've often used the analogy, and it's also a cliche, but I've often used the analogy that God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. He wants us to listen twice as much as we speak. And what we have to recognize is that listening is going to help us to be more efficient also. So, I read this article and I thought, okay, this is an excellent tool. And for us in our church, we have on our Sunday program, we have on the very back, we have the Socratic note format. So we've got scriptures on one side, we have notes on the other side, and then at the bottom there's comments where you can write. Everything's lined so that you can write on it. So even in Sunday service, during the Sunday sermon, people are taking notes. And every meeting that I go to, I take a notepad because I'm going to take notes. And now I'm going to start writing on the top of the notepad, listen. Because I thought that was real important. It's another level of maximizing your success. When you see something that's going to take you to the next level, you should implement it. And being more efficient is going to help you move your career forward. So we have to work off of that premise. So I'm going to encourage you, manage your time, take good notes, and listen. All of those things are going to help you to move your career forward. These are changes we have to make. And so this morning I was having a conversation with one of my spiritual sons, and I said, it's real important that people want to make change, because something I've always said is that we've been doing things the wrong way for so long, we think it's the right way to do them. If you do something over and over again the same way, no matter what the results are, whether they're positive results or whether they're negative results, we will continue doing them because we think it's the right way to do them. what we have to do along the way is, as we go to each level, as we're elevated to each level in life, we have to be willing to make some changes. You can't do the same thing that you've always done and get, not only expect to get a different result, but expect to get a better result. Because even if you're getting positive outcomes today, over time, that may not work anymore. Because you're not only dealing with an internal customer, you're dealing with an external customer. You've got the people factor, the human factor. And so you may have to make some changes to adjust to what and who you have to deal with. Once you've identified the things you've been doing that have limited your success, make those changes. And then try to explore the possibilities of doing something at another level. You know, it's very interesting. I've been an athlete, an old athlete now for a very long time, but I've always been involved in athletics, particularly as a young man. But even older, you know, I ran my first marathon at 49. I wanted to do it before my 50th birthday, and I ran my first marathon at 49, and I've run others since then. But my point to that is that I've always been athletic. But you can't run sprints and run them effectively, efficiently, and at a high, and perform at a high level, and think that because you can run sprints, you can then go and run a marathon without training. 26.2 miles. It's not going to happen. Because it's another level. Everything we do in life, we should hope and we should believe God that He wants to take us to another level in Him. You know, I'll use a biblical analogy. God could have written the Ten Commandments and given them to Moses. He could have spoke them to Moses right where he was. But He had him come up into the mountain to get them. He had him go to another level to get them. He had to go to another level to get it. Now, as I said on Sunday, there's a lot more than 10 commandments in the Bible, but God knew that we wouldn't even get those 10 right. So, you know, he knew what He was doing. He always knows what He's doing. And He knows when He wants to take us to the next level. The fact that you've identified that there's some things that you've been doing that have limited your success, you now can make the change. And that's something to be excited about. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. If you're in any of those areas, check for the store hours. Stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt attire today. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York and at the Short Hills Mall in Short Hills, New Jersey. If you're in any of those areas, check for the store hours. Stop in at the retail stores. They have everything you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children at The White Company. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. So I'm going to say this to all of our listeners and viewers because I want everyone to be aware we are still working in the process of expanding our broadcast on additional platforms. And one of those platforms is going to be that we are currently in the process of wrapping up doing internet radio. So we will be launching that in the coming months, and we're excited about that. We're looking forward to having the opportunity to expand the broadcast so that you can hear from God on numerous platforms. We'll be doing, our students from our Achievers Academy will be doing interviews with celebrated individuals. We'll be doing a lot of different things, so stay tuned for that. We want you to stay with us. Encourage your family, friends, and coworkers to tune in every day. Of course, they can watch us on our app. If you have the